The biggest mistake that I see new coaches making in their first few sessions, talking far too much. Coaching is so different to other things that we do. So because of that, usually when we're one-to-one with someone, we might fill gaps. Maybe we are big talkers and we get into coaching and we think that we need to explain everything. We actually often think we need to tell our clients what we're thinking or what we would do. And what that then becomes is it becomes the Ruth Kudzi show or whatever your name is. It becomes about you and not the client. So I see so many great new coaches starting and they're asking so many questions at once. They're telling the client what they think. It's becoming about them, not the client. So even right at the beginning, if you can, strip it back rather than thinking about having a balance of about 70% of the client talking, about 30% of you talking. So giving the client space, recognizing that actually that processing the client is doing when they're talking is important. This creates insight. Allowing that space, being okay in the silence, recognizing that when we reflect back to a client, we don't need to reflect back every single thing. We're not a parrot. So I see as well this idea of summarizing, like to show I'm listening, I'm going to reflect every single thing that I've heard. So I'm going to say, okay, so we could talk about the relationship with your boss and how that's been challenging since they've come back from maternity leave. And the fact that you are balancing caring for your mum who's unwell with looking after your two children, with the fact that your dog has recently been to the vet and isn't that well, with the fact that you can't decide where to go on holiday, with the fact that you really need to do some work on your garden. And we reflect all of that back. The client knows what they've said, but we might say, so there's your holiday, your dog, your relationship with your boss, and balancing everything. Which of those would you like to explore? So again, it's succinct. It's not about just being a parrot. So I see this kind of either talking too much, asking lots and lots and lots and lots of questions at once. How are you? How do you feel? What's going on? What does that mean? Where it feels like the client is being interviewed rather than being coached. Then it's about actually providing space, allowing the client to talk, allowing the client to process, allowing the client to reflect. It's about over summarizing. So we're doing all of the work. And I say that's what it seems at the beginning when people start coaching. They're doing the work. They're leading the session. They are in control. They've got their list of questions. And all of this is really normal. So this is really where lots of people start. Maybe you've put the stabilizers on. Maybe at the beginning, you've got a list of questions. It does feel quite scripted, quite unnatural. Maybe you need that for a few sessions to actually recognize that it's okay and you're safe. But over time, it's not about a list of questions. It's not about a model or a framework. It's about your presence. So at the beginning, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel that you're going to notice you're so much in your head that you're probably missing out lots of things that are going on for the client. It's going to feel unnatural, and that's okay. So even though I see all of these things, I don't see them as mistakes. I see them as part of learning, part of the process, part of becoming a coach. You're not going to be a great coach after session 1. You're not going to be a great coach after session 10. But if you start to reflect and learn and develop and listen and know and understand, by session 50, you'll be on the way. By session 100, you'll be well established. So part of this is being okay with not being great, being okay with it being messy and hard, and being okay with not being an expert yet. It takes time. It's about mastering your presence as well, recognizing that you've got all this stuff in your head that can be getting in the way, forming a barrier, recognizing that your nervous system and your anxiety and your worry to get it right is going to be a blocker too. So the more that you coach, the more that you will notice that you aren't having to have the spotlight on you, that you aren't talking all the time, that you aren't filling all the silences, that you're okay with simple, succinct questions, that you reflect back and summarize succinctly, shortly to serve the client. So remember, wherever you are, this is the start. And I'd love to know what you've learned since those very first coaching sessions.